Well, guys, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving week last week because we're getting even closer to Christmas where we celebrate Jesus' birth. Now, for our AWANA lesson tonight, I will make sure it's not as long as last week's. I just got a little carried away. But we're going to be focusing on, again, the Bible, and we're going to be focusing on this topic. We're going to be focusing on the Bible teaching us how to live, section 2.5. Now, we're going to start out by watching this little video on making PB&J. Then we're going to talk about how this peanut butter jelly sandwich relates to the Bible and what we have to learn from our memory verse today. So here we go. It's about 5 minutes long, but we're only going to watch about a minute of it.
I'm hungry. I could really go for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Do you guys think you can write down some instructions and teach me how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
Yeah. I'm done.
Step 1. Get 2 pieces of bread out. Got 'em. Get a butter knife and get some PB. Take 1 piece of bread, spread it around with the butter knife.
No, Dad, with the peanut butter.
I'm just doing what it says. It says take 1 piece of bread, spread it around with the butter knife.
Hold on.
Get some jelly, rub it on the other half of the bread.
No, Dad, open the jelly.
Well, it doesn't say to do that. Put the breads together on top of each other. Take a big bite. This doesn't taste like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Fail.
Now, there's more to it, but you get the general gist of it. Now, I want you to think, how does that have to do with the Bible? Well, what's nice about the Bible is God didn't leave any discrepancies or any second guesses like we did in that peanut butter and jelly description. His instructions that he gave us are exact. If we want to know what God expects of us or what Jesus would do in a situation, it has almost everything laid out for us. And that's what's great about the Bible. God really planned it well when he used those men to write it for us. Now, we're going to head to this verse for us. It's your memory verse, so let me exit on out of here. It's Psalms 119, verse 11, and it says, I have stored up your word in my heart that I might not sin against you. Now, what does the writer say that he did so that he doesn't sin against God? Well, it said that he stores it up. He hides it in his heart, so he always has it with him. Now, what's nice about that is always having it with you. You know the path that you're supposed to take. You know when you're supposed to do something to the right or do something to the left. You know what's expected of you because you have it here. It's great that this author didn't say, hold on, I have to go check my Bible to see what it says. No, this author said, guess what? I have it in my heart. I've memorized it, so I know right away what God expects of me, which is truly great. Now, there is a purpose that God gave us to follow his instructions. And it's not just because he wants us to be good people or he wants us to, be nice to our brothers or sisters, but it was to show how much we are as sinners, how that we cannot compare to God's perfectness. And when we realize that, we know that, hey, the only way we can get to heaven is through his son, Jesus Christ. Now, it doesn't just mean that we can ignore all of those instructions in there that he gave us in the Bible, because if we truly love God and want him to be a part of us, then we should follow the best we can those expectations that he's laid down for us. Now, we're going to head to another section after this. But remember, the first step in following God's instruction is to trust Jesus Christ as Savior. That's what all of those parts that the Bible is trying to teach us how to live is trying to point to that. It's saying, hey, we are kind of messed up people. We're sinners. And the first step is that we need to trust Jesus as our Savior. That's all those instructions that God has in the Bible is pointing to that, saying, hey, you can't do this alone. You can't get to heaven without Jesus. Now, Psalms 119 verse 9 says this. It says, how can a young man keep his way pure? By guarding it according to your word. Now, before we look at this verse a little bit, I didn't mean to cover this guy's head up, but I have a picture of him. He's called one of my favorite words in the world. He's a beef eater. And he's part of the British Guard that is in London that protects certain structures, that protects the royal palace and other important places around. I just like that word beef eater, so I threw it on there as a guard to remind us of this verse. But what I really like about this verse is, how does this verse say a person can keep his or her way pure? Well, it says by guarding it. So that doesn't just mean, you know what, by hiding it in your heart that you just put it there and you forget about it. But when you're guarding something, you remember it constantly and you know it's precious and you want to hold on to it forever because you know it's something valuable. If it's not, you're honestly probably not going to be guarding it. So I want you guys to remember, as we head to our large group video now, is remember God gave us those instructions to show us how we should live, to teach us how we can live. And he didn't make it like those peanut butter and jelly sandwiches instructions where it's like, maybe I'm supposed to do this or maybe I'm not. Like that dad followed those directions the kid laid out. God made it very clear. It said, love your neighbor as yourself. It said, you shall have no other gods before me. He said, this is the way that I expect my people to be. And he knows we're not going to be able to do it all the time. So that's why he sent his son Jesus, so we can join him in heaven if we believe him that he's our Savior. Because we can't be perfect. We can't always follow those directions and those instructions, but Jesus took that payment for us, that sin payment that we'll talk about later. All right, guys, we will see you in our large group now.